Hey everyone, welcome back to the Retro Gamer Chronicles. This is Eric for GMR.
And this is David the Lame Dad.
Dude, we're back, man. It's 2022. We're on season 2 of the RGC, and it's just good to see your freaking face, man.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. We definitely took a little bit of a break. And I don't think it was anything that we really planned. But with my computer dying and the holidays coming up, and everything that Eric's been working on and vacations, it just worked out where we both got some time off.
Yeah, and it was nice. We talked about it before, off camera, just being able to catch up on channel stuff, and then just I think you were playing a backlog of games. I got Guardians of the Galaxy for the PS5. I think you've been playing that. I got to play that.
Yeah, it's like a guy named Ash, and then Marcello really sold me on it. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do,
Mhm.
and it's been I've had a hard time putting it down. It's really good.
One of the reasons why I didn't want to get it at first was because like it's not licensed of like the obviously the actors that play in the movies, so it's a little
Right.
doesn't. I guess it's more to the comics, what it look like in the comics, but it looks pretty awesome overall.
Well, I was really worried that I was going to not like Chris Pratt not being
Mhm.
Star Lord,
Right.
but we watched Guardians of the Galaxy Saturday just because I was on a Guardians of the Galaxy binge, and I had a problem with Chris Pratt playing Star Lord after playing the game.
Okay. Oh, so you're the other guy. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I got that for PS5, and I think I got something else. What else did I get? I got Far Cry 6.
Okay, I haven't checked
So
that one out.
I got Far Cry 6 too. But yeah, we're gonna check that out. But no, getting caught up on backlog of games and then just the channel stuff. So we're back for season 2 of the RGC, and we're looking at Sarah Connor Chronicles season 2. And we're just talking about it. We're gonna go into it today, but it's 22 episodes in season 2. There's going to be some good ones and there's going to be some not so good ones. But we hope that you guys bear with us through the seasons again and watch episodes as we're going. So today we're doing 1 and 2, Samson and Delilah, and then Automatic for the People will be the second episode that we discussed today. So you ready? We'll get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So this episode basically starts out with at the end of season 1, she gets into the car, Cameron, and she blows up. So Cameron blows up in the car, and you're like, "Oh crap! What's going to happen now?" But Cameron slowly reboots following the car explosion, which ended season 1. John and Sarah are grabbed by Margot Sarkisian and a large sidekick of his as they try to exit the house. So basically, all this is going on. She blows up in the car. They try to leave, and then Sarkisian, who we thought was in season 1, they killed him. It's not Sarkisian. This is the real Sarkisian now.
It was nice how it was a good cliffhanger ending on season 1, and they definitely pick right up.
Yeah.
So much so that as we're going through this episode, just as a reminder for everybody out there, because I honestly forgot that this is still John Connor's birthday.
Yes, that's right. It's all in the same day, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just crazy how it happens.
And then my other thing is like, so here's like the cheese card. She blows up and her skin is like barely charred. Like I think it's her face is a little bit, but like, what did you? So didn't we see in season 1 where one of the Terminators like blew up and you see the skeleton? So like, I don't know. That was one thing I felt like, wouldn't you think since she blew up, she'd have no skin left?
I agree with you. I really thought you should see more, but what I thought was cheese here and kind of comical. She's got some piece of metal like sticking out the back of her head.
Yeah, from like the car went in there or something.
Yeah.
She's like,
And like she just barely grabs it and just like
yeah, yeah. She
no
like was
emotion.
very effortlessly.
Yes, very effortlessly.
Yeah, right there. So Cameron pulls a massive chunk of automotive shrapnel from the back of her head, and her HUD displays that her chip integrity has been compromised. And inside the house, Sarah is getting slapped around by Sarkisian while John works to escape from his restraints. Sarkisian's henchmen find the hard drive under a mattress downstairs. All those hard drives are basically the stuff from was it Vic's chip and all that stuff, or
Yes. Yes. Well, yes. I thought it, but that's right. Yeah, because
the hard drive, the Turk.
Turk. Yeah, yeah.
That's right. The Turk. All right. It's been a while, so I'm getting caught up here. And I watched the episodes like I think 2 weeks ago. So as I'm going back, we'll come back to me here. So Cameron enters the house and terminates the henchmen, knocking over flammable fluids and a Zippo lighter, igniting a fire as she climbs the stairs. She opens the door and her HUD displays that Sarah and John appear to be okay, while Sarkisian lies deceased on the floor behind them. Now, before I read this next paragraph, did you think that Cameron looked a little strange before you? So what's going to happen now is basically with that explosion, something happened in Cameron, and she triggers her, and she wants to kill John Connor now. And I feel like they did a pretty cool job of foreshadowing that. But I don't know if you were paying attention or not, if you caught that, if you saw there was something weird about her before that whole thing went down.
Agreed. Yeah. Then the way she was walking and messed up, and she seemed a lot more Terminator-ish,
Yes.
more robotic or whatever. But I am not a fan at all of the fight scenes that took place right here at the beginning of the episode between Sarkisian and Sarah Connor. Just the way they shoot that. And it's not just this series, but the style of the fight where it's so kind of blurry and so mashed up. I am just not a huge fan of that. I can't see it. My eyes hurt. But apparently, she was getting beat up, and Cameron comes in, and we see that I guess John, killed one of the guys. Doesn't never show that, but following the sequence of the scene, that's kind of what we get out of it.
I'll be back.
After assessing the corpse, Cameron shifts her attention to John. In her display identification John Connor label, a quick shot of Cameron's face is shown, followed by her assessment mission terminate. So apparently Cameron's reprogramming has failed, and she has returned to her Skynet defaults. She raises a gun to fire at John, just as she's knocked backwards by an explosion from below. John and Sarah jump out the window to safety. So she basically is reprogrammed to now try to kill John Connor, which is kind of crazy because it goes back to like all the other Terminators and whatnot before her to try to kill John Connor.
There's some really cool canon in this episode and in a little bit where it kind of pulls from some of the other movies, especially T2. But I saw this coming. I knew this had to come at some point during season 1 or season 2. I knew Cameron was gonna. It is what it is.
Right. Yeah. I thought it was well done though. I feel like they didn't do it 1,000 times in the prior season. This is the first time that we see that, which is kind of cool. So then following another recap of Cromartie deciding not to kill Agent Ellison. So basically go back to a flashback of Cromartie not killing Agent Ellison by the pool after that entire obliteration of all the FBI agents. He helps Ellison assess the FBI carnage left behind. Ellison is shown the body of George Laszlo and conspires to have the dead man take the fall rather than trying to explain what really happened to the officials, because obviously he knows that Laszlo's been killed and this guy is a Terminator and he saw the hand and all that good stuff from season 1. So that's something where his character continues to evolve in the show as well.
Yeah, he definitely is evolving, and he makes a comment to Charlie where he's like, this guy has to take the fall because nobody's going to believe me.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like Charlie believes it because he saw it firsthand, but everybody else thinks they're all crazy because that's exactly what happened to Sarah all those years. John and Sarah begin a frantic getaway, wrecking their van as Cameron limps in pursuit, which is funny because she's limping and then she's not running, but she catches up to them pretty darn quickly. And I'm just like, you're limping, but I guess you're a Terminator, so whatever. Let's see. After hearing
it was the same thing with John though. When they wrecked the van, he gets out, and for a moment, as bloody as his ankle is, I thought it was like a compound fracture or something. And his ankle looks messed up, and she's like, running. Good. Yeah, we need to run.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely some not so I guess we are talking about sci-fi and Terminators and machines, but yeah, if you got a bad leg, how are you gonna run that? So after hearing a call about the fire, Charlie goes to Sarah's house and finds out Sarah and John are not among the two dead. Charlie speaks with Derek at the scene about the Derek. Where was Derek throughout all of this? Why wasn't Derek? I can't remember. Why wasn't Derek there?
I don't remember, but yeah, I thought I kept waiting for Derek to pop up, and he's not around at this point.
Right. So that's when he touches base with him there. So the next scene that we here to discuss, we get introduced to a new character. So at the Zero Corp headquarters, Catherine Weaver arranges to acquire the Turk for $300,000. She then ominously calls a meeting of her department heads for later that evening. Sarah and John seek sanctuary in a downtown church. So we don't see everything here yet about Weaver. We'll get there though. That didn't all happen at one point, but they go back now to Derek and Charlie in pursuit along with Cameron, having a conversation in the ambulance where Charlie assures him he's very married and just wants to make sure they're okay. He's trying to basically so that he's not still in love with Sarah, even though we know he is, but he's still faithful to his wife, Mr. Winters.
Which is an awesome character building, awesome character moment to see that. They're not trying to send him off and make him look like a piece of crap.
Right. That right. 100%. And that's the thing where I like about his character. Dean Winters is a great actor, but I feel like this show is just, I think it's was great for his career. I mean, I know he's doing mostly commercials and stuff now, but I mean, dude, the guy's got to be making tons of money as the spokesperson for what is it, Allstate. So
yeah, he's not hurting.
He's definitely not hurting. I don't feel bad for him at all. I'm sure as Mayhem, he's probably making like millions at this point. All right, so let's see. Where was I?
We delivered the Turk. No.
So
he delivered the Turk.
Weaver meets with Walsh, who's delivering now we go back to Weaver. Meets with Walsh, delivering the Turk, telling him about what makes the small computer so unique. So Sarah and John decide that Cameron must be destroyed, and Ellison files his official false report about the massacre. So there's a lot of things going on at one time here, but again, this is a recap that we're reading off of. But it seemed like overall, in this whole part of the show here, Ellison is deciding to file a false report because he doesn't want people to think he's crazy. He has to so we can do some more investigating himself and go into that deeper.
Yeah, it's cool to see him go and do his own thing.
And then we go back and we see Sarah and John are at this church on the side of the road, and they're trying to evade Cameron. So they find the help of a priest. Sarah and John attempt to trap Cameron by shocking her unconscious. So they figured that they have to shock her unconscious so they can get to her chip and they can reprogram her. Is basically what they have to do.
Yeah, they light her up. Right.
So failing to get Cameron's chip out in 2 minutes, they're forced to flee again. A chase ensues, and Cameron eventually flips over their stolen car in L.A., storm drain with one side of her arm. Like she flips over 4 or 5 times. It's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, it's a pretty gnarly crash.
So Sarah is injured, but she's alive. John escapes into a garage. He struggles to hotwire a truck. And just as Cameron discovers him and attempts to terminate him by flinging a heavy wrench through the windshield, Sarah comes barreling in this giant truck, dump truck, basically, and pins Cameron between both grills. Now, John has plenty of time to remove the chip, but just before he does, Cameron desperately pleads with him, basically saying, just like in Terminator 1, or Terminator 2, pleading John, don't kill me. Didn't she say I love you?
Yeah, she says I love you a couple of times. Yeah. But what was really cool about this scene is right after she flips the car, she goes over, Sarah's crawling out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's the Sarah Connor Chronicles, so she's not going to kill Sarah Connor.
Right.
But she's holding her down and she's telling him, call John, call to John, just like the T-1000 did in T2.
Right.
Yeah. When they're at the forge at the end.
Right. Yeah. I feel like, again, as you always say, the canon, the lore, I feel like you could easily say that it's cheap and they're not coming up with their own ideas, but it is what it is. Like the Terminators, they're Terminators, and they're programmed to do that. If you think about it, it's not reusing old ideas, just that's what they're used to. The Terminators themselves, that's how they trick people.
Well, the writers I believe, are fans of the franchise.
Right.
And I can appreciate that. I would rather have somebody that's a fan of something than some guy who's just stealing IP to make a show.
Right. They're thinking about people like us in this moment that we're going to think that's what we do. We think back to T2 or T1 or whatever it is. That's what they're doing in this case. So I thought it was decent ideas and decent writing. So she's saying, I love you and you love me. John does pull out the chip. And when Charlie and Derek arrive, he concedes that Cameron must be destroyed. Yeah. Derek just wants her to be, wants her to be dead. He wants her gone.
Absolutely.
And then John decides just before setting fire to the junkyard, John turns tables on the adults, putting the chip back into Cameron's head because he does feel something as far, doesn't love her, but he feels obligated to bring her back. He cares about her and wants, her to come back. So puts chick back in her head.
Well, there's a really cool shot here. He's talking about how he needs her, but before he puts after he puts the chip in there, there's a really cool shot where there's two sides of this trash bin, or whatever it is you want to call it. And you've got him and Cameron, and then you've got Derek, Sarah, and Charlie over on the other side. And he takes that flare and he throws it into that bin. And it's a really cool shot where you can kind of see that he's separating himself from them. He's John Connor. He's going to do what he has to do. It's really cool. It's a really cool shot.
No, I'm glad you remember that. That's really cool. I think it's a great shot, and it's a good place to call it out like that. All right, so putting the chip back into Cameron's head and handing her a gun to see if she really is back to her old self. Cameron's HUD view initially shows the same red terminate, but then it switches over to termination override message, so not to kill him, which is good for John because we don't want John to die here. Was it Dark Fate takes care of that? Spoilers.
Early too.
Very early on. People were so mad. I remember I was in the theater and I heard someone say the F word. That's pretty funny. I'll have to look this out. What the I remember I hear that, like, what the
That's what I was thinking at the time. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. This will be good for our yes, this will be good for our Michael Jackson censor. All right. So Cromartie surprises Ellison at Sarah's house, and the FBI agent tells Cromartie to kill him immediately if he thinks he will ever leave the Terminator to Sarah. We'll see is Cromartie's reply. Basically, just trying to let him know that he's still around and he's got tabs on Ellison and whatnot.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, but he's doing a really good job playing his role.
Oh yeah. No, I'm telling you, like Dillahunt is great. I was watching something more recently, and I think it was a trailer. I saw him in something. He's in something coming out soon. I gotta remember what it was, but he's still he's a great actor. He's in a bunch of stuff, so he's in something new coming out, I think. But all right. So we're back down to Weaver, Shirley Manson's character, who is lead singer of Garbage. She's introduced in this season. I think she does a phenomenal job. You'll get to know her a little bit more as we go through here. But during Weaver's department head meeting, she tells everybody that she will be pulling key employees from every department to work on a brand new Babylon division, which she says will change the world. They're not happy with her, which we'll talk more about in a second. And then we go to Sarah and Cameron discuss faith back at the church. Cameron's asking all about God and why do people have faith and believe? And I feel like Sarah Connor's probably the wrong person to ask about. She has faith, but I don't know where her faith lies. But Cameron telling Sarah that she should never let John. Yeah, basically Cameron saying you shouldn't let John be back. I'm like, well, we tried not to.
Yeah, they tried really hard, and he just wasn't going to have it.
Right, not having it.
So real quick, and we're getting off on a bunny rabbit trail here, but he is in Army, he was in Army of the Dead last year.
Okay. Was something else? Is there anything else for this year coming up that you see?
I don't where the crawdads sing. I don't know. That doesn't.
I could have sworn I saw him in. Maybe I saw him in an older movie more recently. I mean, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and there isn't any new TV shows he's in either. His last TV show appearance was in 2019.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that right here. Okay.
I mean, yeah, we're getting a little bit off on a tangent. That's okay. But hey, it's RGC. This is RGC. This is what we do.
That's what it is. I think I saw him on Fear the Walking Dead because he's on 2018 to 2021. It looks like he has a couple. That must be what I don't watch the show, but I think I must have seen it somewhere on TV. Okay, off on a tangent. Okay. John gives himself a new haircut. He basically shaves his head or trims his hair because they're trying to, I guess, change their appearance. we're back now to Weaver. So two Weaver's department heads discuss the Babylon related changes in the men's bathroom at the company. Okay, so they're in the bathroom and they're peeing. And I don't know about you, man, but as a dude, I hate when people talk to me when I'm in the urinal. Don't talk to me while we're peeing. Like, wait till we're done. Like, it takes 30 seconds. Just wait a few minutes. Wait a little bit.
Well, that and like the guy that there's 3 or 4 open stalls or open
Right
urinals
next to him.
Yeah, like why?
Yeah. I was actually at the airport recently and someone did that to me. There was 6 urinals and I think it went all the way to the right. And one guy literally, I think he came into like 2 over. So there was one in between us, but still there's 4 other ones to choose from that are way far away from me. I don't know.
Well, that's why you look over and you tell him, you're like, hey, nice watch.
Yeah, right. That's what she said. Oh man. This is good. This is good stuff. So now they're zoomed. Did you have any inkling at all at that point that she was a Terminator?
No, I did not. I knew. I mean, obviously, I knew she was somebody that was driving towards Skynet or whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
But so she goes in, right, and like you said, to his horror, she's
in the urinal. He's peeing on the urinal, and that's her. Yeah.
And I feel like with my channel, there's been a lot of piss talk lately. If you didn't see,
I did see that video. Yeah, the golden shower thing. I saw that. Crazy man.
He was about to pee on a Terminator, and we're not. I mean, open bowl. It's not.
It's actually funny. I feel like that was actually pretty good timing for you then, because you just did that video. I feel like you should do one on this one now too, a separate video. So yeah, so basically she comes to life, and he sees that what the hell's going on, and she kills him. So Weaver is a T-1000 like Terminator and terminates disrespectful department head. Boom, the guy's dead, gone,
done. Yeah, done.
And that's how that episode ends. I wanted to see. We'll talk about in the next episode. There's a good guest star that's in tons of stuff. We'll talk about him in a second. But I wanted to see anybody else in there that I don't think so. But overall, I personally feel like it was I don't want to say a weak first episode of season 2, like you're starting the seasons out, but I wasn't like overly impressed. But I guess they did have to tell a lot of stories, so that it was kind of all over the place. But it was a decent first episode, but I wasn't overly impressed.
I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. I know we're getting into episode 2 right now, but I did not like either one of these episodes. I feel like they were the weakest that it's been of the first 2 seasons. And like you said, there's a lot going on, but none of it really felt like it was just solid. I mean, I think, and we can talk about episode 2 here in just a second, but like one of the biggest moments in episode 1 was the Cromartie Ellison encounter at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was some good, powerful moments throughout, but yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't overly impressed.
Yeah, and I feel like we kind of talked about it before, maybe off camera, but it feels like with being so long, many episodes, I feel like they probably had to really, okay, crap, season 1 was great. Now we have to go back and do a whole bunch of writing. And I do like the addition, because we don't know anything at this point. Shirley Manson's character, who is she? Like, what's going on with this Terminator? What's going on? It's kind of out of left field. So that was a good, but overall, I felt like both episodes, we'll talk about automatic for the people now, but it wasn't uneventful, I guess would be the way I would describe it.
Well, one thing, I don't know if we've talked about it last season. We may have when we first started, but season 1 had 9 episodes.
Yeah, 9. Yep.
But there was a union strike or a writer's strike within Fox, and they basically had to cut it short.
That was like the national one where like all like the late shows were not airing everything, right? That was the same year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so what could happen is there was so many, they had all this writing and they had to cram it into season 2.
That's actually a really good idea. That's probably what happened. I forgot about that, because the writer's strike was a big deal. It lasted for a long time.
It did. Right. Yeah.
I remember, I think like Leno and Letterman, they actually paid like salaries of their employees that were not making money to support their families. Like it was crazy. It was like a lot of shows were doing that. I can see you're looking it up.
Yeah. So the air date for season 2 was in 2008.
Okay.
And then let me go back if I can really quickly. but it was 2006, I believe, or no?
Okay, so they're filming the effects of that.
I think so. So season 1. No, it was 2008. So it was only a year.
Hey, we're giving real time feedback here. We're looking things up. We're on the fly. We're we're working hard for the RGC community here.
We are trying to do solid by you
Okay,
guys.
so go to our page of the folks in episode 2, and the actor who's in this, his name is Paul. I think it's Paul Schultz.
Yes.
He plays Carl Greenway. Now,
Yes.
without looking him up on IMDb, I think you're a fan of this show. I think we've talked about it before. Do you know he's in tons of stuff? But do you know what is he known for? Do you know what do you remember who he is?
No, I don't.
Are you were a fan of The Sopranos, right? Or not really?
I did. I watched the first couple of seasons when I probably shouldn't have as a kid.
Yeah, that is a kid, right? Go back and rewatch them. They're awesome again. But he's the priest in Sopranos. He's in like a bunch of episodes as the priest of the family, like a family friend. He's an great actor. He's awesome. He plays a big part in some of those episodes, which is crazy. But all right, so we're off track. We're getting back on track. Automatic for the people. So this starts out with a time displacement sphere. So who's coming back? Appears an immortally wounded human man, staggers out of it, clutching a wound close to his heart. He grabs clothes near a homeless man and he runs off.
Which is par for course. If you're a Terminator or a Protector being sent back, you got to steal from the homeless guys.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to run around naked. I mean, you could, but that'll get you arrested pretty quickly or found out.
Yeah, just steal from the homeless. They don't have anything anyway.
It's terrible.
It's awful.
We're gonna go to hell when we die. All right. So meanwhile, Sarah, Derek, and Cameron prepare to move into a new home that was previously owned by a Japanese couple. Shortly after their pregnant neighbor. Okay, so now that's right. She gets thrown into this one. Where's her name on here? Busey Phillips. She's in tons of stuff. She's thrown into this, and she's a good actress. She's
super pregnant. Super pregnant.
Oh, super pregnant. Yeah, in this episode. But I feel like they felt like they needed I want to say comic relief character, I think. And that's why she's in this season a lot. And she plays a big role as time goes on. But I do feel like they needed to add maybe like a comic relief and they wanted something different. So I don't know. They just kind of throw her in out of nowhere.
Well, there hasn't been anything like that. There wasn't a comic or any kind of lighthearted notes like that in season 1. There wasn't.
No. And she develops like a relationship with John. It's pretty cool, but she's a great actor. Like she does a great job. She makes me laugh and she's funny. But you're right. She's super pregnant. It's pretty hilarious. All right. So introduce her, who's showing the house that she departs. The resistant agent that they show crashes in. He gives information about a man named Greenway and the Serrano Point nuclear power plant at Avila Beach before he dies. So the guy that came through shows up at their house. He's shot. He got shot on the way through, basically, and he's trying to find Sarah to tell her what's going on, tell Derek, but he dies right when they get there. But he basically is able to tell them a little bit of information.
So I just watched this just a few hours ago. He crashes in through this brand new house that they're living in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll bring that.
I think what's going to happen too is I remember, don't they go back? I don't want to jump ahead too much, but they go back and they find like blood on the walls, right?
Yeah, towards the end of the episode, but with the whole crashing thing, and I'll get into in just a second.
Okay.
I just wanted to confirm. I wanted to confirm he does crash in. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. He crashes in or something like out of the blue. So basically at this point, that's when they realize, okay, they got to go do some investigation. They can tell he's resistance because he had the barcode on his arms. They know he's a resistant fighter. They know he's on their side. So they start to go do some research. The three go to the nuclear power plant, which Derek remembers that the resistance recaptured in the future. Hey, we need jobs. We're just going to randomly go to a nuclear power point and get hired. Power plant, not power plant.
Yes. To be fair, this is my environment. This is what I deal with every day.
Right.
And they're janitors, and so some of the janitors we have, and everybody's got to earn a living. But you'd be surprised at some of the people that come in. But the way it all happens, nuclear power plant just come on in and have
Mhm.
basically have full access.
Full access. They give them the key cards and everything.
Which
Yeah.
there's a cool scene about that in a few minutes.
The girls get hired to the plant as janitorial engineers. Sarah gets close to the nuclear technician Greenway, which is that actor we were talking about at the beginning of this discussion, who is resistant to reactivating the plant. He's a cancer survivor with prominent scar on his right bicep as a result of 2 operations to remove lymph nodes from that arm. He is considered far too overcautious by his workers, who dislike him intensely enough that one shatters Greenway's windshield in the parking lot of a bar. So basically, Sarah goes to the bar with him after work. They're having a couple of beers. She's confiding in him to figure out, like, why do they want this guy dead? What's going on? They're trying to figure out. I actually thought, like, as I'm thinking back of it now, this is actually pretty good writing too, because when we get to the end of the episode with what transpires, we start to learn more about Greenway and what he was trying to do. So yeah, got pretty heated with the workers and whatnot.
Well, I really appreciate that. I mean, I have to be in one of these facilities like this, and stuff can go south very, very quickly. And personally, like, I'm watching this and I'm like, I like that guy. You know?
Well, you told me before, it's like one that, like, you're doing something at work and it could take all day or it could take 10 minutes. And if things don't go correctly, you have to redo it and start over. And like, these people are like, oh, we want to go home to our families. And this guy is keeping them from doing that, but he's just trying to do it by the book.
He has safety in mind, which I appreciate.
It's cool. Dude, we're so old, dude. It's like we think about stuff like that. Like, I wake up like it's Sunday. I wake up on a Sunday morning. Like, okay, like, what can I do? Like, what's my downtime? Like, okay, I'll do my chores now, take the garbage out, put the groceries away, and then I can, like, sit down on my phone for 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, like this, I feel like this whole episode has been great. Well, we're going off the cusp, right?
I love it.
We're having fun here.
That's what we do, because we have the chemistry for this now, and we're getting more used to this as we go through. And I can say Retro Gamer Chronicles now without stuttering, because I actually know what it is and I don't forget it every time. And
I can say Sarah Connor Chronicles without saying files.
Without saying files.
But like, I can't watch Deepwater Horizon with Marky Mark in it. It's so intense. And again, getting off on some tangents here, but
do it.
We're old, man. Wow.
We are. We are. We're getting there. So if the plan is activated as an unsafe facility, Skynet reaps the benefits of its devastation and the millions of dead it would cause. And if it isn't, the resistance doesn't get control of it in the future. So Sarah gets too close when she follows the executive who catches her in unauthorized space. Now, this actor, do you know who this guy is? His name is Dean Norris. Do you know who Dean Norris is in this episode?
Yes. So correct me if I'm wrong. I know he's in Breaking Bad.
Yep.
I know he's Walter White's brother-in-law.
You got it. Yeah, he's a great actor. He's in tons and tons of stuff too. And when I saw him in this, yeah.
I think he's also in The Shield. I could be mistaken though.
I think you might be thinking of the other guy with the bald head, Michael Chiklis. They both look very similar, though. I don't know. He might be in The Shield though too. I don't really know.
Yeah, but yeah, he is a good actor.
Speaking again, off on tangents. Have you seen Spider-Man yet?
No, but to be fair, I haven't seen a Spider-Man movie since Tobey Maguire.
I would tell you that if you saw the other two of the home franchises, you'd be okay. But you should go see. You can skip the Garfield Spider-Mans, but you should definitely watch at least Homecoming, Far From Home, and then No Way Home.
Well, Tom Holland's a great actor, and he was really good in The Avengers.
He's a good actor. I didn't really think he fits Spider-Man, but that's just my opinion.
He's a bit, yeah. I can say that he kind of looks like a little kid.
Well, so did Tobey Maguire too. Like, don't get me wrong, but I actually went back recently and watched the 3. I like them. I know people hate 3. I like all 3 of them. They're good. Maybe because that's nostalgia talking in me, but still. All right, off on a tangent.
Nostalgia is a terrible. It can be a terrible thing.
Yes, it can make you remember things that never really happened, or remember things you remember that never really happened.
Make you spend a lot of money.
Make us spend a lot of money. Look behind us, like me, me and you. You have a cardboard cutout of Arnold. I have a Macho Man, pillow buddy. I mean, dude.
Oh yeah, right. Brother.
Oh, I can do a pretty good Macho Man, but not today. I'll save that for a different day. Okay. So, right. So Sarah gets too close when it follows the executive, Dean Norris, who catches her in an unauthorized space where, like, okay, he catches her in an unauthorized space and he looks at her um, like he's going to punish her. He's going to make her clean up the alarm goes off. Like she's been exposed to radiation. So he makes her clean it up. What do they call it? You've been
I didn't understand that. I think they called it cramped.
crapped. I think crap. I actually think it was like crapped or something. I don't know. But
Yeah,
she
it was something weird.
So she has to clean it up. However, even in the hazmat suit, she panics and gets out. Now she's thinking in her head. I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but she started to think if that's how she died because of their exposure to radiation from cancer. All right. So a faulty scan, probably rigged, indicates that she's been contaminated. So she is subjected to a decontamination washed by the executive, presumably to curb her unhealthy curiosity. So basically, then they show her she's getting, hosed down and stuff. And I think I thought about you. It went back to the first episode for me where they were purposely like the first episode where she's in the back of the cop car on season 1. Remember when they were like, it kind of like, again, the sex appeal, like it's, 9 o'clock on Fox, men, that kind of thing.
Short skirt. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of goes back to that for me. So elsewhere, Agent Ellison on his forced vacation comes to Charlie's home to talk to him. His wife soon learns everything about the Connors and the Terminators and has a hard time accepting. They basically tell her, Charlie comes home and sees that Ellison's talking to his wife. They talks to, all together, and they're basically discussing that. Ellison advises them to move someplace safe. So at this point, I really do think that Ellison starts turning the corner between like FBI agent and humanitarian, like trying to help these people, because he knows some crazy shit going on.
Agreed. Yeah, 100. I'm starting to see, and kind of what he did in episode 1 with the fake police report or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's moving away from the FBI role.
Yes, and they're showing that too. Like they're by like him becoming closer with Charlie, like trying to look out for him and his wife. I feel like they're showing that and planting the seeds for it, which is great.
I mean, you called it when we first started doing this that his role was going to develop, and I would like him, and I do. He's one of my favorite favorite characters.
Yeah, and he's a great actor. Like he's awesome. Like I don't know, just he got a good on-screen presence. Now back at school, John goes to school, meeting a new friend named Riley, who was pretty funny, really forward. She's a great actor. He shows her his new house, but is dumbfounded that his mother left him a kid's bed. So he's going to the house with her. He's seeing it for the first time, and they obviously got the house rented with everything already furnished. So in his room, it's a kid's bed. So when the family arrives home, Sarah looks and sees Riley, and it's like going to have a conniption that he let someone else in the house.
Well, that's where I was talking about it earlier. When the resistance fighter comes crashing through the house, John doesn't know that John hasn't been home. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's like, I'm taking this chick home.
Right.
And I think that.
And we're skipping ahead, but she sleeps over too. Like
on the floor.
On the floor. Yeah, right. But still, like she sleeps over. Right. Mm-hmm. I know. But like she sleeps over, like they just met each other, and like I don't know, my mom would have killed me even though she slept on the floor, for crying out loud.
Well, and we're talking about this chick Riley, right? But there was the other female character in season 1
with the dad that was abusive or something,
or crazy. Yeah, they didn't
really go into it all the way.
I'm wondering if they bring that storyline back into it, because it was kind of intriguing.
I can't remember or not. I can't remember if they bring her back. I think they do, because I feel like she was, but now that Riley's introduced, I'm trying to think if Riley's more in it. I can't really remember all of it, but
we'll get there.
We will totally get there. So the next day, Greenway prepares to reactivate the plant, but as Sarah watches, she notices that the scar on Greenway's arm is gone. He's acting kind of strange. He doesn't look like, like himself. They did a great job on the day before, zooming in on his scar on his arm. They did a great job zooming in on that and showing it. And now we don't see it. So in your brain, like, well, he's flipped, he's Terminator, the guy's dead. We automatically know at that point that it's not Greenway. So tipping her off that the person in front of her was a Series 888 infiltrator. Derek investigates Greenway's house. Only this is cool. So I think we always say like, oh, this episode's not great, but this kind of hit me. This is really like out of a movie, I guess, where he's in Greenway's home. He calls Sarah on the phone. He's like, Sarah, get out of there, because they find him hanging. He killed himself.
Yeah.
Obviously, they know it was staged. The guy killed him, but looked like a suicide.
Oh, this was a great part of the episode. This was really good, and we're talking about she realizes he's a 888, right? There's a fight that ensues, and Cameron's acting weird.
Yeah. Yes. It's almost like she's thinking about, should I stop this? Should I stop it or should I not stop it?
Yeah, and Sarah's kind of yelling at her, kind of getting in her face, and she's acting really weird.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a scene where they're in the console, they're in the control room, and Greenway, obviously he's a Terminator, and he just murders everybody in this control room.
Yeah, he does. And then Dean Norris's character comes in, right? Like the bald head guy, and he's looking around like, what the hell? And then he doesn't actually kill him. I think he knocks him down or something.
Yeah, I don't think he kills him.
But yeah, like they're like, what the hell's going on?
A good scene. I thought it was a really well done scene.
Yeah, and then the fight's pretty good too. So the Terminator works to overload the reactor, but Cameron begins a fight with him. Sarah snatches a gun from a guard to assist her, but has to go through the contaminated area. So she basically goes through this, radiation area on purpose to try to help. And Derek goes around. Sarah shoots the Terminator, distracting it from Cameron to slam it to a pair of transformers, frying its circuits and destroying its skin. Again, destroying its skin. So it gets destroyed from electrocution, but not from a friggin' fire. But that's Hollywood. Later, Cameron is seen putting all the parts of the now dismembered Series 888 infiltrator into an empty nuclear waste barrel.
Yeah, it's empty.
Meaning, why is it empty?
Well, I mean, it's like, does that proper disposal of these Terminators? They've been like lighting these things up with thermite or whatever, and they're just gonna put him in an empty nuclear waste barrel, I guess, because nobody's ever gonna open it.
Right. No one's ever gonna go through there and open up a barrel randomly in a nuclear power plant when they're opening barrels all the time.
It's just radioactive.
A representative from Automite Systems come to take control of the plant, announcing that his corporation will be installing artificial intelligence to eliminate the possibility of human error. After his speech, he gets into his car and he morphs into the T-1001, Catherine Weaver, Shirley Manson's character. That was pretty cool.
Totally saw it coming.
Did you see that part coming?
Yeah, I totally did. I didn't know if she was going to be, took his form or if he was just a Terminator. But we've been talking about this a lot, where all these Terminators were sent back to do jobs and to progress. Like the one lady was building all the traffic lights and traffic cameras, which is essentially was the eyes of Skynet.
Right.
But yeah, so obviously she is a badass, and she's the Skynet. She's making stuff happen.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really excited for you to keep watching this and see the evolution of the character. There's 20 more episodes to get through, but we're going to do it, and it's going to be fun. So one more part here. After a long sterilizing shower, Sarah notices a blood trail in the house and follows it to the basement. In a darkened room, she discovers a list on the wall in blood of places, people, and targets left by the dead resistance fighter. So before he burst into the house and landed in front of them, basically, he went down in the basement and he wrote all this stuff down because he knew wasn't going to make it out. So they have a list of people and targets they have to go after now, which is cool. And that's how the episode 2 ends.
I can't really decide if I like that part or not, but it is what it is.
I forgot about it. And I don't, obviously I saw this, episode season before, and I forgot about it. And when I saw that, I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool. It's like, he knew he was dying and he, tried to, I don't know. Yeah. They're reaching obviously, but I thought it was kind of a cool idea, but I could see where it could kind of go either way.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's, personally, I wouldn't say it's reaching, because because the guy is in it one episode. And
Mhm.
so he was bringing in this information and he had to give it to him some way, somehow.
Right. And that's how they wrote it into the. I wonder what happened if they're like, they got through this episode, right? And they went back and did a reshoot and added that in. They're like, oh man, we have to figure out how we're going to write more episodes. So maybe they reshot that and added it at the end of the episode for like the list. Who knows?
But it was cool to see him come out of the transmorph
Yeah,
and get shot and get hurt immediately.
that was crazy. That was crazy. That was well done, though.
That's something I didn't expect that because that's never happened in the franchise before.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of these things where we talked about it before, but they're redoing some of the old, but they are adding in some of the new as well. So maybe some of the things that they're doing differently than the movies have done. And again, they have an opportunity to tell 22 stories in the season. And let's just say 22 hours, and you watch the Terminator film is 3 hours max, right? So they had 22 hours with commercials. Obviously, it's not that much, but they have all this time to tell through these different stories, and that was pretty cool. That's why I was excited about this whole thing in the beginning when we talked about doing this series, because us being Terminator fans and having you not seen it before and talking about it, this is kind of where it's like you can see something years ago, but finally watch it now, and some of it's bad, but a lot of it's good too. So it's cool.
There's a lot that's good, and I have to believe that Terminator fans like us legitimately enjoy this series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I definitely, and even like, for example, our friend Bill,
Right.
Bill for Retro Comparisons, he's watching these episodes as we're doing them, and he hasn't come back and watched the show yet. I think eventually he will, but he's watching our stuff just because like he likes to hear us talk, he likes to hear about it, but he's not even really bought into the series. He's watching it just because of our thoughts and stuff like that, but he's learning. He wants to go and watch it now too. He's a huge Terminator fan as well, so now he wants to go watch the series. So
yeah, I've been talking to it with Sega Blocks and Marcello a little bit, and they're like, oh well, it's good, but I need to go back and rewatch it, this and that.
Yeah,
And it really is. It really builds on the franchise, and I really appreciate that as a fan. And as we talked about earlier, like it's written by Terminator fans, because I don't ever feel, other than the psychiatrist, the doctor's name, it's
I can't think of it now either.
yeah, it's
Other
than him,
Silverman, Dr. Silverman.
yes. Other than that, I really don't feel like they've done any true justice to the series. And even with him, they do wrap it up where it's kind of karma. He's in the psych ward.
Right.
Yeah.
It just was quick. Like you said, they could have did like a little slower of a burn with him, had him in a few more episodes, that kind of thing.
I definitely feel like they're being very respectful of it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, they did good. They're not like crapping on the series, like the whole franchise. Again, we could say that about Genesis. We could say that about even Dark Fate, where they're kind of crapping on the franchise a little bit, but we'll see. But I think also too, to your point, we are getting a lot of random viewers and some of the folks in the community. But I think as we get through this series and we get into some more mainstream reviews that we're going to be doing down the road for season 3 and 4 and 5 of the RGC, because we're not going anywhere, we're going to be around for a while. We're going to do some more mainstream stuff that I think more folks will be in. But this is obviously for maybe a smaller subset of folks that are really hardcore. But we have gotten some really good comments from some folks. I think one person at the beginning was kind of pissed, but I think he's still watching, so we appreciate his support.
Well, I mean, when I did Terminator Month, I didn't quite know what I was going to get.
Yeah.
But I did get a lot of really hardcore fans that were, very open with their opinion because they were fans, and that was really awesome.
That's cool. And that's what we do, man. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's been good catching up with you. I think this episode is going to be long, which is awesome for us, just because we had a lot of good things to say. We went off some funny tangents, and there's going to be some swear cover-ups in there, which is always fun. But no, we really are excited. And Dave, before we close out, anything you want to add about episodes 1 and 2?
A little lackluster, but overall, I mean, it's progressing the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think as we go through, you're gonna like a lot of. There are some filler in here episodes, but the last, I'd say 4 or 5 are like really crazy awesome. So we'll get through this, and we're excited for it. But hope that you all had a happy holiday. and spend some time with your friends and family. Hope it took some time off, and leave us some comments below. Anything you want to see, anything you don't want to see. We're here to help support and continue to have some fun. So we appreciate you all very much. This has been Eric for Game Mode Retro.
And this is David, the lame dad.
We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.